And I will even say practicing isn't like, doesn't have to feel like a chore.
Right.
Think of it more like you're getting. Hey, this is Alexis from the Dallas Music Academy, and in this video, we're going to be talking about learning music as an adult student, and we're going to go over some common misconceptions and debunking them. And be sure to stay until the very end where I'm going to be giving out a special announcement. So stay tuned and enjoy.
Yep. So what's a common thread that you see among all the adult students that you have coming in?
I'll say common thread that I see is one, there's always going to be sometimes like a mental barrier that they had to go through. So one of them would be, let's say an adult student that's never taken piano lesson before, any music lessons whatsoever. They feel like, I should have done this earlier in life. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they'll have kind of that regret. They kind of have an embarrassment because with the internet now these days, you're going to find a video of a 5-year-old playing level 7. And an adult is just there well, I'm in level 1, right? Yeah. Or the other one is maybe they did take lessons when they were younger, but now they had to stop for whatever reason. Most of the time it's because they went to go study in college. Well, now they graduate, they have a profession, and they're coming back to piano lessons. And the mental barrier there is, I used to be able to do this. And so now how do we kind of overcome that? Well, as a piano instructor, I always say this, to just any student, only compare yourself, to your past self. And if you are studying on piano lessons, maybe you started a month ago, well, compare yourself to a month ago. Maybe you were intimidated by your instrument, you were intimidated by the piano, but now you at least know how to name them. Mm-hmm. Another month go by, and now you know how to play some music. Mm-hmm. Another month go by, now you know how to play with fluency. And compare yourself to that. And I always tell people this, because it's also kind of a personal story. I remember I won my first competition a year into piano lessons. Mm-hmm. I remember thinking, well, those that win piano competitions are those that took it seriously, they were much younger. And I always thought, I remember my piano teacher, he said, well, it'll be a win if you got third place. Mm-hmm. Didn't get third place, got first place, right? Right? And so I was just a year into piano lesson. I remember thinking, I'm so glad I took piano lessons a year ago, because now I am where I'm at a year from then.
Right.
Right? It was just one of those things where if you postpone it, where can you be a year from now?
Right.
And I think that's only, do yourself justice. If you are going to invest in this, in lessons, then only compare to your past self.
Right. And I will say, if you're the type who did music for a bit, stopped, and then came back, because that was my experience, mm-hmm. It comes back. You'd be surprised how much comes back of what you remember, even if you're learning a completely different instrument. What are some things where they may have an edge over, say, younger students?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'll start out by saying that, well, first of all, when they are coming back, that means they've had some sort of musical training in the beginning. There's two major things, notes and rhythm, right? And so whether you're a young student, mm-hmm. it's going to be notes, rhythm, and then, of course, other detailed legato, staccato, articulation, pedaling, if it's a piano. So now they're coming back later in life, right?
Right.
It means that memory is still there. Sometimes what I see is that they're coming in and they already know how to keep a beat.
Right.
Right? Because if you think about it, rhythm isn't this mathematical kind of concept. It is in a way, but it's more an experience concept. You have to feel the beat. Uh-huh. You have to feel the hold of the half note, right? Mm-hmm. And so they're coming in already with that. So usually I don't have to do a lot of rhythmic training or drilling, because they already had that when they were younger. Mm-hmm. And you kind of hold on to that, for the rest of your life, right? Now, when it comes to note reading, that can, get behind just a little bit, only because just like anything else in life, if it's not constantly being reinforced, then, it's just kind of get lost in the memory. I like to think of learning music like learning a language. You can, maybe you want to pick up another language, let's say Spanish. What happens if you just stop speaking Spanish for a year or two?
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
It's rough.
It's going to be rough, but what happens if you go back to it? Then some of that memory is going to come back.
What about adult students who don't have past musical experience? Are there anything that you've seen, I guess, with those kinds of students where they may have an edge?
When you start out with lesson as a child, you have you have neuroplasticity. So what does neuroplasticity mean? It means that you have a spongy brain, you absorb your environment, and you pick up on things very easily. And in developmental psychology, these are known as windows of opportunities, right?
Okay.
And so for an adult, your brain is not really developing anymore. If anything, it's already kind of solidified, right?
Oh, no.
So you're not really absorbing like new information, right? So that's why it's harder to learn a language later in life,
Yeah.
because when you're exposed to it much earlier, you're in that window of opportunity
Right.
to pick up the sounds, the language of it, and doesn't mean that, oh, that means it's impossible to ever learn a new language.
Right.
It just means that you won't be as absorbent.
You're less of a sponge.
You're less of a sponge now, right? So that happens in music lessons. So whenever an adult comes in, they may not have a good sense of rhythm. Well, I'm probably not gonna like clap and stomp with them, right? Because also that's more like kids' activity.
Aw.
But what I'll probably do is I'll probably let's rewire your brain. What's something you do know? And so most of the time they know words. And so we might go like pie, 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 right? Because those are like one syllable, one beat. And if you can rewire your brain to where this word equals one beat, then they start rhythmically synchronizing really well. You don't have to like stomp or clap with them. You just kind of have to like, well, you know how this word is said. Rewire your brain so that instead of saying it, you're playing it.
Yeah.
And so I think for an adult, it's more about rewiring the brain, whereas for a child, it's all about creating an experience for the brain to absorb.
Right. How easy is it for an adult to, I guess in this context, rewire the brain? Because, you know, just those who are younger, like where it's like, hey, actually, it's good that you're back now because you're actually going to be better at learning this part faster or, you know, picking this up faster than maybe this other area.
Yeah.
Is there anything like that?
Yeah, so learning music is never linear. Maybe how I will learn music won't be how someone else does. So let me give like an example. I noticed that students come in as either student A or student B.
Okay.
Student A would be you're a solid note reader. You just kind of need more drilling with rhythm.
Okay.
Or student B, they're really good at rhythm keeping. You just need extra help with note reading because you're guessing, right?
Right.
And so, what does that mean for me as a teacher? Some stuff or some activities I do for student A, I may not have to do for student B, right? And so that's the first thing I consider, just what type of student am I dealing with, right?
Right.
And so what do they need drilling with, right?
Right.
And so now let's go back to how long does it take for that brain to be rewired and
Yeah.
become proficient, right? So it always comes down to one thing. How much do you practice? I like to think of practice as, you know, like learning a new language. When you learn a new language, you read it, you write it, you hear it, you talk it.
Yeah.
It's gotta be the same way for music. You
Right.
play it, you read it, you feel it.
Yeah.
Right, and you hear it. Right? And so really the biggest thing is when you leave this lesson and you go back to your normal week environment,
Right.
how engaged are you at the music making process? How much
Right.
do you practice, right? And I wouldn't even say practicing isn't like, doesn't have to feel like a chore.
Right.
Think of it more like you're bettering yourself. You're getting 1% better every day, right?
Right.
And so students that put in the time, right, are going to get more results. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
imagine someone who's learning a new language like Spanish and they're just putting in the hours.
Right.
And compared to another student who's maybe just speaking it 5 minutes a day,
Right.
right? And so those two students are going to have completely different outcomes, right? And so it's all about exposing your brain to the music, whether it's rewiring or you're experiencing for the first time as a young child with that neuroplasticity. It's all about how exposed are you, because essentially that's how our brain works. We adapt to our environment. It's kind of like this nature versus nurture.
Right.
Students can come in with like a natural talent of having a good ear,
Right.
right? And so that's your nature, but your nature can never make up for what you have to nurture. And I kind of pointed myself actually. I probably had one of the worst like like natural ear for music. So what worked for me is I put in that time. I put in that nurture. Even though I had such a bad state of bad hearing, right?
Yeah.
I was able to kind of nurture my way and put my brain and my mind into an environment of like, this is music, I'm gonna understand it, I'm gonna speak it, I'm gonna talk it just like it would for a language. And it worked for me, right?
Yeah.
And then now think of another student who may actually have the natural talent, have a good ear. You still gotta nurture it.
What was the toughest part of your musical journey to get down?
When you're learning for the first time, you're learning what's the notes, right? What's a rhythm. And so you get it, you implement it, there's quick reward. Once you start going into like an intermediate kind of level, even maybe even like beginner level, then all these concepts start coming together, and you're not learning songs once a week like you used to.
Right.
It's taking maybe 2 weeks.
Right.
It can even take up to a month.
Right.
And now you're not getting that instant gratification. And students can think, now I play bad.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
But it's not so much that you're playing bad. The music got harder.
Yeah.
And the concert got harder because now you're not just doing notes and rhythm. You're doing notes, rhythm, plus what are you pedaling, plus how you're playing in your technique, right?
Right.
And so all this starts building up, and students can plateau.
Oh, so it's the coordination piece and like new
Right.
levels, new devils.
Right,
type-
yeah. And so like you may be putting in the same amount of hours and times, but you're not getting the same results anymore. And now you kind of have to be like an investor and put in the investment and get your reward later.
Oh, yeah.
And and I'll say this, like I performed with the Wind Symphony and my alma mater degree concerto. That took me 9-10 months to learn.
Wow.
And like you really just gotta like I remember I had to learn that this is gonna take time. I think that was the hardest.
Right.
Like it wasn't even like a technical thing, it was like a mental
Right.
barrier. Just like, yes, this is taking me a while, but also this is hard.
Yeah.
And I like to say this, the hardest challenges are for those who are the strongest.
Ooh.
So,
Yeah.
you know, I did it, and so I performed it, and no regrets,
Yeah.
you know, but that's the hardest part.
This is to my last question. You said like it took you 9 months to do, and this is probably when you were already working. For when you're taking lessons as an adult, we've talked about this, and I've experienced that where it can be really difficult sometimes to fit in practice when you work at a full-time job and you've got other responsibilities and life happens. What would you recommend?
If you're an adult and you're having just hard time finding time to practice, there's always one thing you can do.
Okay.
It's just navigate your instrument.
Oh.
You can improvise. Just improvise. What happens when you improvise? Yes, you're making things up, and it's kind of fun in the process, but like you're also navigating your instrument. Because when you navigate your instrument, you're allowing the instrument to be an extension of yourself. And so, another thing I tell students is kind of take like a no zero day kind of approach. So a no zero day
Okay.
is a gym concept.
Oh.
So like, let's say I want to lose weight, which is a good reminder for myself too, right?
Oh.
So let's say I have a goal, I want to lose weight. Can't be a day where I do 0 push-ups.
Oh, so just do something.
Do something. So it's called no zero day.
Oh.
There can't be a day where I do 0. But if there is a day where I can only do 1 push-up a day, it's better than 0. Because what happens when you have 0 days consecutively? You're not exercising that brain. You're not exposing your brain to music. But if you can at least go to the piano and say, I'm at least going to navigate and improvise for 1 minute so that it's not 0, then that means even if you have consecutive days of 1 minute practice,
Right.
so that when you do go back, it hasn't been 7 days since
Right,
you last touched
right,
the keyboard.
right.
And you're actually going to find yourself kind of navigating yourself into the right position, into the right notes, because that's something you still do a little bit every day,
Right.
even if it's just a minute. What I kind of like about improvising is I find it to be like a stress relieving process too. So I get to decide what I want to focus on. Maybe I just want to sharpen up on my harmonies and chords, right? Or maybe someone who is a young child may just want to sharpen up on, okay, let me just navigate the black notes and improvise. This is kind of miraculous. It's like students who have a hard time keeping rhythm with sheet music are great timekeeping when they improvise.
Oh,
Because
interesting.
you're not trying to fit in what's on the music. You're just playing what you feel.
Mm-hmm.
And again, kind of like saying, you get to pick. So maybe you just want to hop on and like, you know what? I'm just going to improvise, let's say piano, right? I'm going to just do the black notes, but I'm going to make it sound just a little bit upbeat. And so now you're picking the rhythm, you're picking the tempo, and you're improvising, and you'll find yourself synchronizing so well to that internal rhythm you have, right? And then it can be something rhythmic, it can be something melodically, like, oh, let me see if I can find some notes that combine well together. And you're just clashing away, and
You're playing.
You're playing. That's all that matters.
It's a playground.
Just exactly. And so what do you want to prioritize when you only have that 5 minutes to do something?
Right.
I know this is kind of like a non-answer, but your mind will tell you.
Yeah.
Just put yourself in front of the instrument and ask yourself, what do I kind of need? Or what do I want to do? Right? And your mind will answer that for you. And it doesn't even have to be the same thing tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow your mind needs something else. And just let that improv session be something else. Hey, so I hope you got much insight from that video. And for those of you that stay until the very end, here is a special announcement. I created a Facebook group called Piano for Busy Adults. It's the one and only kind of group and community where if you're an adult and you just love engaging in music making experiences, but just don't have the time to engage in it, well, this is the Facebook group for you. So here's what we did. You can get real insights from real musicians, tips and tricks on how to practice, and not only that, it's completely free to join. And so do yourself a favor and join now so that you don't have any 0 days when you practice. I can put the QR code right here so you can join, and do yourself a favor and get started now. And lastly, be sure to leave a comment and let me know what kind of video you want to see next. I really do read through all the comments. It really means a lot to me. And let me know what you want to see. So I'll see you in the next video.